you so much. Oh my God. You're totally shaming me with disability by standing up.
Applegate, a beloved actress whose charm and talent have captivated audiences for decades. But behind her radiant smile lies a life marked by relentless tragedy. Stay with us until the end as we uncover the heart-wrenching journey of Christina Applegate. I believe that after listening, you will not expect her endurance to be so great. This has been a long journey, and I think we should start from her childhood when she had to work hard throughout her childhood and her mother's cancer took her toll. Dominated all later tragedies. Christina Applegate has been making people laugh for many years. But behind the scenes, she has faced sad after sad after sad events throughout her life. While her family had some very troubling moments, she's had to deal with some health problems that keep coming back. Despite all of this, she became extremely and amazingly famous in Hollywood. Christina Applegate was born in Hollywood on November 25, 1971. Her mom, Nancy Pretty, was a singer and actress, and her dad, Bob Applegate, worked at Dot Records. But Christina didn't see much of her dad when she was younger because her parents split up when she was only 5 months old. She talked about it on a show called Who Do You Think You Are? She said she's a part of him like a piece of his character. Pretty during the 70s only got occasional jobs on TV, so Christina had to step up as a child actor to help the family. Christina shared in 2020 that acting was something she always did because she had to survive. She said that's how they earn money with her doing radio or TV commercials. It's how they got food. Besides her parents splitting up, Christina went through another sad breakup in the 2000s. She married actor Jonathan Scheich after dating for a few years. But in 2005, they announced they were separating and the divorce was finalized in 2007. In the year 1978, when Christina Applegate was just 7 years old, her mom received the frightening news that she had breast cancer. To halt the disease's progress, Nancy decided to undergo a mastectomy, a surgery to completely remove the breast tissue. Thankfully, after the procedure, she was declared free of cancer, but the battle wasn't over. In 1986, cancer returned, this time in her abdomen. Nancy endured 2 years of intense treatment, including 7 surgeries to remove the cancer. Finally, by 1988, she was cancer-free once more. Sadly, the shadow of cancer continued to loom over the family. Usually, when a mother faces breast cancer, the chances rise that her daughters might also have the disease later in life. This realization weighed heavily on Christina. She knew that breast cancer could potentially be part of her own future. With this concern in mind, she devised a quick plan for early and frequent screening to detect any signs of the disease as soon as possible. The experience of living with the threat of breast cancer taught Christina to value every moment paid to her body and prioritize her health above all else. Christina's commitment to proactive health management went beyond doing it for herself. She became an advocate for breast cancer awareness, using her platform to educate others about the importance of early detection and regular screenings. Through her advocacy work, she aimed to empower individuals to take control of their health and seek timely medical attention when needed. In a recent episode of Who Do You Think You Are?, it was discovered that Christina Applegate's father, Bob, grew up under the care of his paternal grandmother for most of his life. His knowledge about his biological mother was limited as she passed away during his childhood years. Following a search initiated by Christina's sister, they stumbled upon their father's birth certificate, which provided some crucial information. It revealed that Bob's grandmother's name was Lavina Shaw. Events from Bob's childhood were revealed, including a memory from when he was about 7 or 8 years old, when his grandmother informed him about his mother's tragic demise. According to the account, she was found brutally beaten outside a bar. Digging deeper into court records, the Applegates discovered something shocking about Lavina Shaw's life. It was revealed that she had endured both emotional and physical abuse from her husband, Paul, who was also Bob's father. The records indicated that she made the courageous decision to leave him in 1941 while she was pregnant. They made up, but things got worse. So Shaw decided to officially end their marriage. She went to live with someone else, but Paul accused her of being unfaithful, and he won the case. Their child ended up living with Paul's mom. Shaw got married again, but sadly she passed away in March 1955. At just 33 years old. Her death certificate stated that she had lung disease and liver damage because she drank too much alcohol, the devastating injury, and her boyfriend's death in 2005. During the springtime, a famous musical called Sweet Charity was getting ready for a big comeback on Broadway after a long hiatus. They were doing a bunch of shows in Chicago to warm up this time around. Christina Applegate, known for her work on TV, was getting ready for her first big role on stage. She was going to play the main character, Charity Hope Valentine, a dancer who's having a tough time. The show was known for its dancing and Christina was ready to take on the challenge. But something unexpected happened while she was dancing during one of the performances. She hurt her foot badly. It turned out she had fractured a bone in her foot. She tried to keep going, but the pain was too much. Eventually, she had to step aside and another actor took over her part. Christina didn't give up. She took the time to heal and she got better, but even though she was ready to go back on stage, the people in charge of the show decided to call off the Broadway performances. They probably didn't want to take any chances with her getting hurt again. Or maybe they thought the timing wasn't right. So, unfortunately, the big Broadway revival didn't happen as planned. Despite facing challenges, she managed to persuade the event planners to go ahead with the production. Consequently, Sweet Charity made its debut on Broadway in May 2005. Applegate's portrayal earned her a Tony Award nomination for Best Actress in a Musical. But this would become the end of her Broadway career, struggling with an unhealed broken bone. She resorted to wearing specialized medical shoes to protect her foot during performances. Unfortunately, this decision led to long-term damage. Thinking back on her experience in an interview with TheInsider.com, she lamented that she actually can't dance anymore. This realization saddened her deeply as returning to dancing had always been a cherished aspiration. Regrettably, it seemed unlikely that she would ever be able to fulfill that dream. Shortly after Christina Applegate and her husband Jonathan Scheich ended their marriage in 2005, she began a new relationship with Lee Grievous, a fisherman and photographer from Alaska. But their time together was destroyed by Grievous's struggle with addiction to drugs and alcohol. This challenge caused a strain in their relationship, leading Christina to end things with him. There were moments when Grievous attempted to overcome his addiction and the couple would reconnect. But these periods of sobriety were short-lived as Grievous would eventually relapse. This cycle repeated itself, creating a pattern of instability in their relationship. Reports from the National Enquirer show that Christina really loved Grievous but could not bear to witness him destroying his own life through addiction. This internal conflict added to the emotional turmoil of their relationship. In April 2008, Applegate and Grievous reconciled for what would be the final time. But their reunion was short-lived as they parted ways later that same year. Tragically, Grievous was found dead in his Hollywood home in July, at the young age of 26, due to an apparent overdose. Christina, deeply affected by Grievous's passing, expressed her sorrow in a statement to the US Weekly, describing him as an incredible person who was very important in her life. In the mid-1990s, Christina Applegate and musician Martin Lenovo first crossed paths. At that time, Lenovo was the basis for the alternative rock band Porno for Pyros. As time passed, their relationship evolved beyond mere friendship, blossoming into romance. In the year 2008, their love journey reached a major milestone when they decided to take the plunge and become engaged on the romantic occasion of Valentine's Day in 2010. Subsequently, in the year 2013, they solidified their commitment to each other by exchanging vows in matrimony. Their union was further blessed with the arrival of their daughter Sadie, who was born in 2011, gracing their lives with newfound joy and fulfillment. Christina and Martin's journey together, however, has not been without its share of hardships and trials. In September 2012, their peaceful existence was disrupted by a terrifying incident involving a threatening individual who targeted Martin Lenovo on social media. Expressing his delusional grievances, the perpetrator menacingly declared his intent to harm Lenovo, attributing his actions to a perceived theft of Christina Applegate's affection. The threats escalated to horrifying levels, with the individual making graphic statements of violence and damage, including explicit references to causing physical harm and death. This malicious intent made the couple fear for their lives. Thereafter, Martin and Christina contacted the Los Angeles Police Department. But no arrests have been made even until now, as they have been unable to identify the harasser. That aside, there's more to Christina's story. Christina Applegate has faced numerous health challenges throughout her life. One particular issue she has struggled with is insomnia, a condition where she has had difficulty sleeping for over 20 years. She described the impact of this condition on her spiritual, emotional, and physical well-being, especially how it affected her ability to function during her 20s and 30s, often causing her to stay awake throughout the night. Sadly, insomnia is not the only health concern she has had to face. In 2008, during a routine checkup, a concerning finding emerged from an MRI scan. This discovery led her doctor to order a biopsy. Unfortunately, the results revealed a malignant growth, and she received the devastating diagnosis of breast cancer. At the time of diagnosis, Christina was only 36 years old, which was 2 years younger than her mother when she was diagnosed with the same illness. Christina's experience with breast cancer was particularly frightening, especially considering her family history with the disease. Even though she knew it ran in her family, she never imagined she would be diagnosed herself. She straightforwardly admitted to feeling extremely scared about her diagnosis, expressing her fear in strong language. These health struggles have undoubtedly taken a toll on Christina both physically and emotionally. Dealing with chronic insomnia for decades and then facing a life-threatening illness like breast cancer at a relatively young age can be very challenging. Christina went to the doctor to see if she had a change in her genes, called a mutation on the BRCA gene if someone has this change. It means they are more likely somewhere between 40 to 85% to get breast cancer, and if they get cancer, it might come back even after treatment. The test showed that Christina had this change in her genes, so to really try to stop the cancer from coming back, she chose to have both of her breasts removed surgically. Someone once asked her why she just decided to let both of them go, and she responded affirmatively this decision was a big one. It meant having surgery to remove both of her breasts, which is called a double mastectomy. But for Christina, it was important to do everything possible to reduce the chances of the cancer returning. So, she made the tough choice to have this surgery. Cancer and multiple sclerosis challenges. Receiving news about having cancer can cause a lot of stress all by itself. But for Christina Applegate, it was even harder because she's famous. People found out about her diagnosis before she was ready to tell them, which made things even tougher. Then, after having surgery to remove both of her breasts, she didn't have much time to really understand what was happening to her. She told More magazines that she had a moment where she felt like she completely fell apart emotionally. She said it was good that they shared the news, but when she had to talk about the details of the illness, it was hard for her. She didn't want to think about what was happening to her body. When things slowed down, all the emotions hit her at once. She was shaking and she had to switch to taking care of things mode, which meant changing her diet to be healthier. Christina's experience shows how overwhelming it can be to have to deal with a serious illness while also being in the public eye. She had to face not only the physical challenges of her diagnosis, but also the pressure of being watched and talked about by so many people. After her surgery, Christina had to find a way to cope with everything that was happening. Christina found out she had a mutation of the BRCA gene, which meant she had a higher chance of getting ovarian cancer. Someone in her family, her cousin, died from ovarian cancer in 2008. In 2017, she decided to have surgery to remove her ovaries and fallopian tubes. She talked about this today, saying it was a way for her to take control of her health. She felt relieved to have one less thing to worry about. She even joked about it, saying now she just had to hope she didn't get hit by a bus. As if all she had faced wasn't enough, another heartbreaking event happened when Christina Applegate hit the big 50. Something strange started happening to her body. She noticed this weird buzzing feeling in her arms and legs, like her whole body was vibrating, and it wasn't just that. She also couldn't feel much in those areas either. It was like her limbs were going numb, which is pretty scary when you think about it. As time went on, things didn't get better. They got worse. Christina told Variety all about it. She said, "First my toes went numb, but I didn't think much of it. Then it spread to the balls of my feet and still I brushed it off. But then out of nowhere, I'd find myself losing my balance and stumbling." Can you imagine how unsettling that must have been for her? To make matters worse, when Christina shared her concerns with others, they just shrugged it off, saying things like it was probably just neuropathy. But it wasn't that simple. Neuropathy might sound like a fancy medical term, but all it means is nerve damage, and real nerve damage is no joke. It can mess with your body in all sorts of ways, causing tingling, numbness, and even loss of balance like Christina was experiencing. But Christina's problem was more than neuropathy. Regardless, Christina didn't let it defeat her. Instead of just accepting her fate, she took action. She sought medical help and started tackling this issue head-on. Christina then discovered that she struggled to walk short distances while filming her Netflix series Dead to Me. Apart from this, she noticed changes in her sleeping patterns, unexpected weight gain, and difficulties maintaining balance. These worrisome symptoms culminated in a diagnosis of multiple sclerosis during the summer of 2021. Multiple sclerosis is a progressive neurological disorder characterized by the body's immune system attacking its own tissues. This autoimmune response leads to a breakdown in the communication between the brain and the rest of the body, resulting in a myriad of symptoms including mobility issues, vision impairment, balance problems, muscle weakness, and speech difficulties. The impact of MS on Christina's health necessitated a pause in the production of the third season of Dead to Me for 5 months. This break allowed her to prioritize receiving medical treatment and care to manage her condition effectively, while there are treatments available to reduce the effects of MS and slow down its progression. There is unfortunately no known cure for the disease at present. This means that individuals like Christina, who are living with MS, must focus on managing their symptoms and maintaining their quality of life as best as possible. That's not all. In a conversation with the New York Times back in 2022, Christina said she needed to confront and process the many major losses she had experienced, both in terms of her life and a part of her identity. Discussing the coping mechanisms she employed, Applegate mentioned her reliance on humor as a shield to maintain a facade of normalcy. But she clearly admitted that beneath the surface, she was down with the weight of her emotions and struggles after her diagnosis of multiple sclerosis at the onset of treatment. Applegate found herself confronted with the reality of her new limitations, forced into retirement due to her health condition. She had the daunting task of adjusting to a life that now included managing a chronic illness. In an interview with Variety, she spoke about the necessity of allowing oneself the time to understand the intricacies of the disease and identify triggers for symptoms. She also admitted to feeling like a novice in that unfamiliar experience as Dead to Me continued to be filmed. Christina still had issues because of her health. Although she could still walk, it was noticeably slower, and she relied on a cane for support. The California heat and long working hours took a toll on her. The exhaustion was such that she often needed a wheelchair between takes, and there were scenes where a crew member had to assist her in staying upright. To accommodate her condition, certain sequences had to be rewritten, allowing her to lean against doors for support. At times, filming days had to be cancelled altogether if she lacked the strength to leave her home. In 2023, Christina hinted at the possibility of completely retiring from live-action roles after completing Dead to Me. In an interview with Vanity Fair, she expressed uncertainty about her future health progression, stating she couldn't even imagine going to set at the moment. While we might not hear from Christina for a while, the world will feel her absence from comedy TV. Christina Applegate's life story is a testament to her incredible resilience and strength. Despite facing one tragedy after another, she continues to inspire with her unwavering spirit. We can all learn from her endurance and bravery. Thank you for watching. If Christina's story touched you, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe to our channel for more heartfelt stories of resilience and strength. Leave a comment below to share your thoughts and send your support to Christina. See you next time.